Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. How are
Um,
you?
I'm doing well. And so, just for everybody who's listening here, my name is Mia Reeves. I'm a CPA. And then I have Matt Rushton. He is our one of our favorite clients. And then Marisol Saen, she is the CPA and she's accounting manager for Matt. And Matt is the one of the co-owners of Stormloop Technologies. So today I'm going to talk to you guys, just kind of talk to Matt and learn more about his journey to success. You guys have a very successful business and kind of talk about our process of working together and how we've created values for you and how we can help you promote your business. So we can go ahead and get started by, so Matt, maybe tell us a little bit more. I know your business. We've worked together for many years, but kind of tell the audience a little bit more about your business and how you get started and how long have you been in the business?
Yeah, so Stormloop is what you probably like to call a boutique consulting firm, mainly in the workday and adaptive planning space right now. And then also we are a software development firm. So we're working on building some products that integrate with ERP systems like Workday, not solely Workday. It'll probably expand to other products, but we perform consulting services in the Workday space. So what that means is Workday is basically like a cloud-based HR platform. So think of it like a cloud-based filing cabinet for everything that involves running a business. So from employee benefits all the way to the company's financials, everything lives in Workday. This isn't true for all clients that use Workday. Some may only have HCM, some may only have fins, and then they store their other data in other systems. But what we do is we help clients make the most out of those systems and have the most pleasant experience with them. Because as you can imagine, if one gets implemented poorly, it can be very disastrous for a company. They have to spend more money to get things fixed, and they have to pay a lot of people to run it and operate it versus building streamlined and automated processes like we do. We make the client feel more comfortable about using and interacting with Workday. So that's really our core model right now. A lot of our clients, I mean, we serve clients all around the world, but the majority of our clients are based in the United States. And we've been in business since April of 2018. It started with just my brother Scott, and he was working for a partner that did Workday consulting and realized that there was an independent space. And then once he got into the independent space, saw an opportunity to have additional contracts and bring on people to help build a business. So that's when he called me and we teamed up. And now 4 years later, what was it, 6 years later? Is it 2024? Yeah. 6 years later, we are at 25 employees and continuing to grow and hire more people. So it's been a good ride so far. I think you guys have been with us since 2020,
Yeah,
2019 or 20. So
nineteen.
pretty close to the beginning. You guys have been with
Yeah,
us and obviously helped us do a lot of that growth. So we appreciate that. But
I
yeah,
remember.
short little blurb on Stormloop.
Well, thank you. I remember when your brother contacted us and he read a Google review or something, and then we're just like
Yeah.
started working together right away, and we're just so blown away by the way you guys grown your business, and it's not just from the financial standpoint, but like managing your employees, and you are still very involved, but at the same time, you have a big vision to really grow very fast too.
Yeah.
So 25 employees, would you mind sharing your revenue or your vision for 2024?
Won't share exact revenue numbers, but vision for 2024. I think obviously the outlook's really positive. We are continuing to grow and expand and get a lot more direct clients. So that's one of the facets of our business that we've really focused on these last 2 years. We set a goal that we wanted to really try and make the majority of our contracts with clients direct. So no middleman, no recruiters or other third parties that are involved in taking a cut on the hourly rate or off of a fixed fee project. So that's been really great for us because we've obviously the rates are higher and the revenue's higher. But in addition to that, our employees are able to take more ownership on those roles. It feels like, Stormloop and them, they are running the project and running the relationship with the client, as opposed to being on a project that was sourced by some other company and not Stormloop. And it feels like they're running the relationship. So that's been a big part of our business. I mean, got to give credit where credit's due. Our growth is really due to the quality of people that we've brought on, which has been we've been so lucky to be introduced to a lot of our employees through our work, and we've brought them on to our projects or to the company, and obviously they've added so much value. I mean, aside from the quality of work that they do, just their networks, we were getting clients left and right coming up to us or coming to us asking to work with us because they've worked with our employees in the past and they had a really pleasant experience with them. So I think that's probably a huge reason for our success, is the fact that we've brought on such quality people.
Mm.
And any entrepreneurs out there that are young and just starting out a new company, I always tell them, really focus on who you're bringing on, because when you're 2 people or 10 people, one bad apple can bring the whole ship down. So you really want to try and bring the most high quality people that you can on that are going to help grow the business as much as possible. Selfless people are always the best people that are coming in and going to do everything they can to help the ship grow, but are not going to, have their hand out all the time, which we structure our company with a very equitable mindset of, I like people feeling valued and I like people feeling like they have equity in what they're doing, so that them working really hard on something doesn't feel like they're working for someone else. It feels like they're helping themselves.
Mm.
And that's proven really, really successful for us. So we're hoping to see that continue to grow as we hire some more people in 2024.
That is amazing. Very good advice for entrepreneurs out there as well. It's like you're focusing on people, and that's the most important asset that you have. And the good people can bring in clients and better people and just really help everybody grow together. So I appreciate that. Now, what kind of specific challenges or issues that you were facing accounting tax-wise before you actually started using our services? And have you seen any changes since then?
Well,
And a lot of them.
the problem was I didn't have Marisol. That was my problem. No, but the thing with being, I guess you could call it entrepreneurship, but really just running a business, is when you're such a small team. Let me silence my ping so you guys aren't getting those on the recording. So yeah, with entrepreneurship, when you're such a small team, time is the most valuable asset. And when your time is what's making you money, in our case, consulting, me spending time on accounting activities and tracking down invoices and figuring out how well did we do last month, what kind of expenses do we have, and then every year you got to do taxes. So there's a ton of paperwork and things that go on with that. For me to take away billable time and time from running the company and trying to build and expand our employee base and make people happy and continue making money, because I run the business and I also bill out some hours, I didn't have time for accounting stuff. Scott and I were going back and forth. We were going Google Sheets tracking like how much money we were billing out on a week. And finally, we're just like, we should definitely outsource this. And small companies have to weigh the option of bringing on somebody full-time or outsourcing the work. And you're going to face that fork in the road when you're realizing, what's my time worth? Is my time that I could be billing for work that I'm an expert at worth me not doing that work and making sure I'm ticking and tying our numbers every month? So to us, it was, do we bring on a full-time accountant to run our numbers, our books, or can we outsource this work to a firm like yours, where you're able to take off that administrative burden of the financial aspect? And from our side, all we have to do is perform and continue doing what we're doing. So it gave us a lot more time to run the business and generate revenue, while you guys were, running our numbers, making sure we're, ticking and tying on our payroll, our vendors' expenses, and then that we're really, really compliant from a tax perspective, because that's obviously important too. We didn't want to have any burdens come on from an audit standpoint and not be prepared to answer anything. So you guys always keep us in check there. And it takes away the need for you to have to keep an eye on the accounting side, because you guys always have it handled.
Well, thank you so much for your feedback. It really makes me feel good. And Marisol's here, so I want her to be here to kind of listen to your feedback about her performance. But I'm glad that you guys have good feedback and appreciate our effort to help you out. And even if you say time is important, but even when we are working together, there are still times when you need to spend some time digging into the issues and working with us.
Yeah,
So we appreciate your partnership, and you're always there, respond to emails so fast, and you're on top of it too. So the thing that a lot of business owners don't know is a lot of business owners only care about the top line revenue. And then when it comes to expenses, when it comes to taxes, they don't really care that much. So for you, it's important that you care about different aspects of the business, and you think
yeah,
finance and accounting are important, and also taxes
for
for your
sure.
business. So tax wise, do you feel like with the tax services that we provided, with the tax savings that we've been able to carve out for you guys, was that good for you? And would the tax savings help you more with your personal life or invest more in the business in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, time is the most valuable asset that you can have when you're running a business. And to find out information on certain tax saving strategies, you have to use time to do that.
Mhm.
So having an outside firm allows you to not have to spend time tracking that stuff down, because I can say, hey, Mia, hey, Marisol, what kind of tax saving strategies are we not taking advantage of right now? What things could we be doing to take the most advantage of our situation right now? Whether, you're an LLC or a corporation, are we doing everything we can to make sure we're getting the best case scenario for our bottom line? And that's been one of the things for us, is like, we can always ask you guys, hey, are we doing everything we need to do? And then we can have like 3 calls on our calendar the next 2 weeks for 3 different vendors that are going to help us figure out a good tax saving strategy to take, whether it's doing a charitable investment or working on, I forget some of the other ones we
R&D
do.
credits.
Some R&D credits, yeah. So there's, like the research and development credit for us was a huge one, because we're a company that's doing software development. So the R&D credit made a ton of sense for us. And that was one of the first ones you guys presented
Mhm.
to us. And it's been so beneficial for us, because there is a heavy financial burden for small firms trying to develop a product that's ultimately going to become one that can generate revenue. But in order to afford that, there is breaks out there for from a tax standpoint. So being able to take advantage of that has helped us a ton, and obviously helped us maintain and build our workforce to be able to cover that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Talking about the software, because I know you guys have spent a lot of time and effort on the software side of the business. How's that going? What's your vision for the software side of the business?
Yeah. So as you know, the main part of our business right now is consulting, and consulting is, you are only generating revenue when you're actually physically working on it. So SaaS or software as a service, has become such a big part of the tech industry recently that we're working on creating a product that will integrate really well with ERP systems. To start, it'll just be Workday, but we're hoping to really expand that out to other systems, making systems more easily integratable and able to talk with each other. Basically a foolproof way to build integrations very easily, with obviously to start Workday, but ultimately we'll expand it to other systems as well. So we'll probably roll it out. I'm hoping for Q2 of this year. At least we're going to be running some beta tests over the next several months, and then hopefully we'll be able to hit the market at some point later this year.
That's really cool. Because for tech companies, software, it's gonna really help you. It's gonna really help you streamline the whole process, right? But it's also gonna increase valuation for your business in the future
Yeah.
too, exponentially.
Our initial goal is actually going to be to roll it out to some of our developers to help them build things quicker for our clients. They can stand up integrations quickly between 2 systems, and hopefully it'll help them save a lot of time there. But then ultimately it'll help other customers and developers save a lot of time in their efforts.
That's cool. So talk about a little bit about your clients. So because we have an audience here and we have 400 clients that we're working with when it comes to taxes and accounting. So who are you looking for? Say if we're referring a client to you, what's a client profile?
Yeah. So in terms of a specific client type or industry, we really don't have one that we prefer or are like solely tied to. It's really anybody that uses the Workday or adaptive planning system, especially from the consulting side, where they're using some form of Workday or Adaptive. And we have an adaptive planning team, a financials team, a technical team for integrations, a HCM team, which is human capital management. So that's basically like the HR side of Workday. And then we have a reporting team as well. So we're a fully stacked company ready to take on any work. That's from obviously our full-time employees standpoint. And that would be for clients that are existing and using Workday or are using Workday or adaptive planning right now. Additionally, our software team works with clients that are outside of Workday but want to integrate with the system. So let's say a vendor like Blue Cross Blue Shield was interested in building an integration with Workday. Our software team and our services team too can team up to help build an integration to connect Blue Cross Blue Shield with Workday. And what that does is it makes that vendor more attractive to customers because they can integrate with their HR system. So if you're a huge company with thousands of employees and you're looking at 10 different benefit vendors and you have Workday, you'll probably pick the one that has a very well-built integration with Workday because it's going to cost a lot less to build out than one would be a custom integration with another vendor. So that's another line of our business in the software space that has been great for us in the past.
That's awesome. It's like you're focusing on one product and then that product or one service, right? And then that could be applied to multiple markets, but like the core service is there for the client. And I have so many questions to ask you, but I know we only have 10 minutes left. Speed up a little bit. So I know that you guys have been so successful and the growth was so quick, right? But like, have you had, even when you was a child, when did you actually wanted to have your own business and not work for someone else? Like share a little bit about your thought process on like why starting a business when you were so young.
I was always interested in just in being very successful and trying to build something that I could be in charge of. I always liked being, I guess, a leader in things. So having a role and being able to build a company from the ground up has been really cool. I don't know if necessarily it was like when I was a kid, I was like, I want to be running businesses. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a doctor, but that changed pretty drastically when I went to business school. But I just saw the opportunity out there. I got it working for a corporation and just, you know, being in the corporate ladder with that whole structure didn't really bode well with me. I like working hard and I like seeing results. Big thing for me, I played football in college. So when you are working really hard for something, you see results for it. When you're working really hard, sometimes in the corporate structure, you're not seeing those results. Sometimes it takes a lot longer and people stick with it and are very successful. For me, I was hoping to see better results quicker and it wasn't happening. So I jumped ship and decided to go, you know, take the reins into my own hands and team up with my brother Scott. So it's been a great ride so far. We're hoping to continue growing this thing and we'll see where it takes us.
That's really cool. By the way, my parents are doctors too. I remember I talked to your mom a couple of times in the past about taxes, but my parents are doctors too. And so I didn't really know what I wanted to do until business school. But I wanted to have a business, just like what kind of business? So
you never know. It's funny. Like, you never know what you're going to start. And like, it depends on what industry you get into. So I first started out in real estate, and anybody can start their own real estate company, but in real estate development, you need a lot of money. Now, the salary of a real estate development analyst is not great, and it doesn't go up that much over time in terms of what I was seeing, and which is another one of the reasons why I left. So to me, I was in an industry where the breakthrough of starting my own thing would have been very hard without bringing in outside money versus something like the services industry where all you need is an expertise. In your case, you need to be an expert in accounting. Scott's case, you needed to be an expert in Workday. And there's an industry for recruiters to pretty much hand you contracts. They take a chunk of the rate and you get the rest of it. So that's just how the cards fall, right? Like if maybe Scott went into real estate and I did the Workday thing, I would have started it in 2018. Who knows, right? It's all about where you start. So where I had started, to me, the path to creating a really successful company was a lot harder to perform versus what you know a services industry is able to do, because all you're offering is your expertise. No one's really going to pay an hourly rate for some real estate development analyst, then I can't, I didn't have money to start my own company and buy a ton of real estate development projects.
Appreciate your insight. I was along the same. I was thinking about it. First, I was thinking about real estate, apartment syndication or
Yeah,
flipping, but I feel like with my accounting, it's like, and for me, accounting is a foundation to have a good business. You have to understand accounting and finance and then build from there, right? So you guys are doing monthly accounting, forecasting, budgeting, all that. But like
yeah,
without that, no business can survive. And so that's
yeah.
why I decided to have my business. But real estate, it's also when you do real estate, you can also be a realtor, or you could
Hmm.
be a developer, you could
Yeah.
build apartments. So in your opinion, in your mind, you were thinking about building real estate.
Yeah. Well, I did both actually. When I was a senior
Okay.
in college, I took I had, with football, I had to be there every summer. So I had a ton of credits built up and I only had to take 2 classes my senior year. I think I
Mm,
had class Tuesday and Thursday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I did an internship at a real estate brokerage while simultaneously getting my real estate license because I thought I was going to get into real estate. So I got my commercial real estate license and worked for this company for a couple months and then ultimately decided I think I want to get into real estate development because I wanted to understand, like you said, the financials behind real estate on these big properties that are generating tons of wealth for people. So I
mm,
decided to go into real estate development, which is you're going from commercial real estate, which is like a eat what you kill, you're a salesperson, you're getting commissions off of whatever commercial deals you do, versus real estate development, salary job. You're coming into the office every day, you're working from a desk. And for me, it was a good experience. I mean, looking back at like, I was, you're always disgruntled when you're doing something that you don't want to do. But looking back, it was so helpful for me because, like, my first day, they're like, oh, you did finance and real estate and accounting at Villanova. Here's a bunch of financial statements for 150 properties. Like, make sure they all tick and tie and that they look good. So that was my job at the real estate development firm. And then I'm underwriting property. So while it was a ton of work and I was working like sometimes 10 to 14-hour days in the office in Philly, it was such a good experience for me because now I come to Stormloop and I'm like, I know how financial statements are going to work. Obviously, I have my experience from college, but the applied knowledge that I took from my job in real estate was really, really helpful for me to understand how balance sheets work, what the financial statement should look like, how big taxes can impact things on the bottom line, which is why ultimately it's been really successful to engage with you guys. So yeah, it was a really good experience for me. And that's why I tell that to people too. Like, even if you hate what you're doing right now, I bet in some way in the future, it's probably going to help you, or something will come up in the future that you will ultimately be better off for doing it and pushing through. And it's proved true for me. So
Not sure anything in life could be a good learning, a good lesson
yeah,
applies
absolutely.
for future purposes. Now, question for you, and I think this is for your own tax benefits. Do you still have your license, or is your wife a realtor? I know Scott's wife is, and it's gonna help him with the cost side.
Yeah. So I did have my license for, I kept it when I was in real estate development. And it was like every 2 years you had to like take the continuing education classes, but I did not renew it after like a couple years because it's just, I wasn't using it. Looking back, I wish I did because then I could get that, real estate professional write
Yeah,
off. But it was, yeah, I didn't keep it. I may at some point in the future look to renew it or reactivate it. But at this point, I do not have it.
might be something good to keep in mind for future purposes. But
Yeah,
we'll
for sure.
talk to you more about this during our sessions this year. More about
Mhm.
the license and how even if you don't get the license, you can still get the professional status. It's just going to be a little bit harder. So
Yeah.
we talk to you more about it. Now, so now we're approaching the end of the podcast. So do you have one last question? Do you have any advice or for people who want to sort of grow their business?
Mhm.
The next level, do you have any advice? I know you talk about hiring people and then finding the right niche, right? And what else do you have for like just someone who wants to grow their business to the next level, exponentially, like you guys did?
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, a great example is engaging with a firm like you guys. Don't be afraid to decentralize some of the tasks that are taking up your time and
Mm,
outsource the work for them. So accounting is a great example of that. You don't need to hire a an entry level accountant for $50,000 to $75,000 a year and just have a few things that need to be handled. You can outsource that work very easily to a firm like yours, where you guys take that burden on, and obviously you're paying for it, but you're paying less than you would a full-time employee. So find what works really well and use your time wisely. You need to value your time like it's the most important thing in the world, because it really is when you're building a business. So outsourcing small tasks like that really help. One of the greatest decisions we've made is bringing on one of our operations managers, Lindsay, who's helped take a lot of those tasks off our plate as well, and allows Scott and I, and obviously others. But when it was just Scott and I, we were running the invoicing and all of the administrative tasks. Now we have an operations manager that's doing it, and it's helped us immensely because we're able to do things that are making the business grow. If you're trying to grow a business and you're spending time on administrative tasks, that you're not growing the business, you're just doing administrative tasks to run the business. So find a way to get those administrative tasks and everything that's just really the mundane running of a business, get that outsourced or get that handled by someone else. And you can continue focusing on growing the business and doing things that are generating more revenue, generating more leads and new business, and finding ways to generate additional revenue that you don't currently have now. Because if your mind power is going to something else like an administrative task, it's not going to be going towards growing the business. So that's probably the most important thing. And then obviously, like you mentioned, the people that you bring on are so huge, especially the initial few hires, because ultimately that's what's going to set the culture. You can have as much influence as you want to try and have, but ultimately the first 5 people you bring on are going to be the most important in terms of setting the standard for what it's going to be like to work at the company and how the company is ultimately going to grow.
That's amazing advice. I think I want to follow all that. But I think one of the things that you mentioned was hiring people to help, hiring the first few employees to help. That was so true, because Marisol was my first employee. And back then she was part-time. And then I think at the kitchen table or at the restaurant, I was like, hey, Marisol, can you go full-time? And she's like, yes. I was so scared because I had to, pay a lot more. And then I was like, okay, let's do it. And then she worked with you guys. You guys are one of her first clients too. So it's the whole journey, but it's amazing to have both of you here and kind of talk about the whole process of how we started until now. And also, yes, of course, delegate the task that you don't want to do, because time is very, very important. I totally agree. And Marisol, since you're here, do you want to say anything to everybody and Matt? And we really appreciate your help with the accounting too.
Yeah, no. I would also say, like, because different companies have different experiences, especially after COVID, right? And so I was really thankful to see their business grow. In addition to that, I know we were able to save significantly in taxes, and I'm sure that savings was put to better use in the business, to continue to support its growth. So it's just been, and then you guys being very responsive and on top of things, and just you guys are one of my favorite clients, because I'm not going to say easy to work with, but I don't like to use the word easy, but it's I don't know, it feels like a team, not like we're separate, so thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so well, thank you so much, Matt and Marisol, for joining the podcast today, and then hope you guys have a great day, and I'll give you the recording soon. And
Awesome.
we're gonna write an article and then give you the recording too, and we're gonna make different videos out of it. So I'll send them to you.
Awesome. Sounds great. Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.